I'll be able to tinker with my other gear, too.
Outlander approaching.
That the savior?
Wanna come in, Savior? Welcome to Chainscrape, Savior.
Merci.
Open up, guys. Jor's orders.
Good enough for me.
By the Forge.
Petra?
Aloy, what are you doing here? About time there was something worth looking at in this dump.
It's nice to see you, too.
And not a moment too soon. Come on.
Ok.
Damn brewery's the only thing I can count on in this place.
Yeah, I heard. Machines, work stoppage.
Oh, those are just the latest malfunctions. Chainscrape's always been a few tools short of a kit. And right there is the biggest tool of all.
Our land, not our problem. The bristlebacks are everybody's problem.
Roland?
You've heard of him,
Yeah.
but he's a story best told over a cold beer.
Bidouze.
Petra.
Bidouze. Ils l'ont vraiment traduit par
I'm just
bidouze.
passing through. I'm headed west.
Oh,
There's an embassy at Barrenlight I need to make happen, and then I keep moving.
Bruit de marée.
ah, of
This
course.
is the way.
Bigger gears to grind. Well, Flame Hair, good to see you. You've got to move on.
Petra.
But if you want a cold beer and a few laughs with an old friend, come find me at the brewery. Your choice.
Je sais plus qui c'est ce meuf.
Well, this Olvan guy sounds like trouble. Maybe Petra could use some support. But first things first, I need to find that workbench and upgrade my bow.
Si c'est pour l'améliorer,
Say it every time. Every time.
ah oui. Je les ai améliorés.
Shop
Pretty
looks
cool.
closed.
Yep,
Can I still use the workbench?
I ain't gonna stop you.
Ok.
Pretty sure it's your ground. Can't be my
Voici votre
round.
réserve. Vous trouverez là d'un campement ainsi que d'un divers endroits du jeu lorsque vous récupérez plus d'objets que vous ne pouvez emporter et vous les mettrez s'envoyer dans votre réserve. Vous pouvez les récupérer un par un. Ok.
Till Alvin blows that whistle, no one's working anymore.
D'accord. Putain, j'ai déjà trop d'os métallique. Ok. Ah oui, ok. D'accord. C'est cool. C'est ça par contre, c'est mieux foutu.
Excuse me. Good day. Of course I'd find you on such a splendid day.
Same time, same place.
Tinkering with one hammer isn't gonna kill you.
You'd think Petra would give fair warning if it's
Pourquoi je peux pas lui parler, bordel?
I'll come find you later.
Tant pis. Tant pis, je vais essayer.
just gives it an...
53 points.
I'm okay. Okay.
J'ai un truc inconnu dans 17 pas. Je rentre là-dedans.
What did I do?
C'est ça le truc inconnu? Ah, il y a un mec qui fait des remèdes ici. Ah. Ok. Pardon. Ok. Oh non,
Hey,
faut que je
Milda.
remercie.
Milda. I took some of your stew last time I went into the wilds. Kept me going for a week. Felt like I could have put a strider in a sleeper hole.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Sounds like you're serving up some impressive provisions here.
Not again. You can have the discount too, but you'll have to come back later.
I think you have me confused with someone else.
Oven
On m'a fait la meuf.
didn't send you?
No.
Oh, my apologies. It's just that his minions won't stop pestering me. Now I've even worn out my special grill. Since I'm in the midst of a crisis, perhaps you could skip to what it is you wanted?
Some of your food?
Of course.
Are Ulvin's people causing you problems?
Oh, yeah. They constantly demand my best, but the equipment I need to make my signature dishes isn't built for batch cooking. And don't get me started on the Ulvin discount they feel so entitled to.
And if you refuse?
I make meals, no trouble.
How did you end up in Chainscrape?
Heard about a new and upcoming town at the edge of the frontier. Where there's a town, there's a tavern. I was in need of work. So I got myself out here and started cooking. Some of these people had never tasted proper boars and berries stew before. Anyway, next thing I knew, people kept coming back. Guess they liked my food. Or the ale.
Ils ont tous avec la bière ici.
Your last customer mentioned your cooking really kept him going out in the wild. Where I'm headed, I could use some of that.
I would be happy to oblige, especially since you have the decency to ask pleasantly.
But...
But my special groove griddle is no more. Without it, I can't cook any of my signature dishes. I hate to think what'll happen when I'm forced to refuse Ulvin or his goons. Even if I already had the right ingredients, there's nothing I can
Faut
do.
que j'achète ça.
Unless you can source me a temporary replacement?
what do you need?
For the ingredients, a few pieces of decent wild meat, and I'd say a big handful of bitter leaf stems. That'll do.
Une
As for the
Vernoni.
griddle, a corrugated metal panel might suffice until I can have a new one forged. You'd likely find one in a scrounger pile if you follow the river to the northeast.
Ah voilà, c'est une liste de
Don't
courses,
worry,
c'est
I'll
chiant.
clean it first. You'll have no issue finding boars and bitter leaf on your way, assuming you're as much a hunter-gatherer as your clothing suggests.
Thanks, Mildif. I'll keep an eye out.
So that's what gratitude sounds like,
And don't let anyone push you around, okay?
if you say so.
Oui, donc c'est ça. Oui, mais j'ai quand même un truc à faire. Oh, vas-y, j'étais il y a 30 secondes. Ben. Ah putain, c'est vrai. Comment je fais pour mettre des bobines Moi, je sais plus comment je fais. Ok, je peux pas le modifier pour l'instant. Super.
Just a little panel to the scrounger.
Ok. Ok, je sais que j'ai plusieurs armes ici. On va commencer par ça comme ça. Oh, mais il y a un feu de camp que j'ai raté. Parce que je l'avais pas qu'il arrive.
We are on the same side here.
What do you want, Ulvund? Some kind of payment?
My dear magistrate, you think I can be bought?
Il a l'air
If you
chiant lui
want
aussi. Hein.
that whistle blown, all you have to do is have your soldiers remove the bristlebacks. and sign the concession decree. Face it, what other choice do you have?
Hi.
Savior, what auspicious timing. Might we discuss a matter of importance to the Sundom?
We might. Later.
Very well. I shall be waiting.
So, the Savior herself. Walloper of Derval, gutter of youth.
Maybe.
I've heard many tales of your beauty and heroics, my fierce lady warrior. Ulvund Freeholder, at your service. So, what could have dragged you away from the fine silks and wine of Meridian to this smudge of a settlement? Your saviorly attention must be needed elsewhere.
I'm here for the embassy and...
The embassy? Why, by the forge. Ah. Greater gears for greater matters. Guess that means you'll be moving on.
Once I've dealt with any problems around here that need my... saviorly attention.
Ah, the bristlebacks, of course.
Les fouisseurs.
Get rid of them if you want that embassy to take place. Well, best get to it, hey? And off you go.
Not so fast. You don't seem to have a high opinion of the magistrate?
Well, I refuse to play nice to some fancy-robed parchment pusher when my fellow laborers are being bullied, intimidated, and taken advantage of.
On fait un parti par toi quand même.
Noble, ha! Born with a hammer in hand, I was. Nobody handed me anything or dropped opportunity into my lap. Everything I've achieved, I've done on my own.
And where is this hammer now?
The burden of leadership forced me to set it aside. The Carja risk nothing, while demanding that good Oseram gamble with their lives out there. Someone had to step up and say no more.
You ordered the work stoppage?
Indeed I did. We're laborers, not soldiers. Until the Carja clean up their mess and give us the fair deal we deserve, I'm not risking Oseram lives.
Fair
Il
deal?
fait son coup de pub
Meaning
là.
your concession decree?
It's not my decree. It's on behalf of all the good Oseram laborers of this land who do all the back-breaking work, while only the Carja reap the rewards. All we're asking for is the ability to share in this prosperity for a land worked by the
Quel
people,
escroc.
for the people.
Right. And just how much would be your share?
Only an amount appropriate to my contributions to this community, of course.
Where's the whistle?
Right in the middle of town, but with the threat out there, I'm not endangering innocent Oseram lives.
I'm going to clear out the bristlebacks. And when I'm done, this valley is gonna get moving.
If that's what it takes. Until then, I'll keep looking after the safety of these good folk.
Just be ready to blow the whistle.
D'accord. Je vois les quêtes annexes. Ah oui, ok, c'est vrai. C'est vraiment là les fouisseurs? Ah non, c'est que je... Ok, j'ai compris. Il y a des fosses de
Let me see
combat
what that
aussi.
Carja magistrate wanted. I bet he's in the tavern.
Oh,
You wanted to speak to me?
Well, you know better than anyone it's a dangerous world out there. And not
C'est
just against
post-tenue.
machines. Name's Oder. This here's my training pit. Best place to practice close combat this side of the Forbidden West. Say, I wonder who'd win in a fight. You, the savior of Meridian, champion of the East, or the Enduring, master of the West.
Who?
The Enduring, a legendary Tenakth fighter, the master of masters. I've heard the Tenakth have training pits just like this one. It's how the warriors get so fierce, see? And only the very best from the pits get to train with the Enduring.
So, to find the Enduring, I should look for these training pits if I'm ever out that way?
d'accord.
You'll have to go far if you do. The Tenakth are split into 3 clans. 3 clans, 3 capitals, 3 training pits. My guess is you'd have to beat all of them if you want to train with the Enduring. If the Tenakth don't kill you on sight.
Masse.
But that's a far spark in the wind. As for right now, I also offer challenges to test your fighting skill.
Who would I be fighting exactly? You?
Well, I know you're the savior and all, but you have to beat all the others first to challenge me.
Oh.
Rules are rules. We only use dual blades and practice arrows, mind. These drunken fools would run themselves through otherwise. You have to leave everything but your spear and practice arrows at the gate. But I'll look after your gear, not to worry. So, what do you say? Up for some
Vas-y,
training?
feu.
I might be.
That's what I like to hear.
Les forces de combat mettent vos compétences de combat, soit c'est-à-dire ça, humain. Terminez tous les défis contre d'autres combattants pour affronter le maître de la fosse. Les forces vous permettent de vous entraîner. Ok. Ah, il faut d'abord que je fasse. Oh vraiment, je dois faire étape par étape?
Yeah, you.
Attacks are fast, but easily blocked. So learn to combine them with other attacks.
Waouh. Ça c'était compliqué. Et maintenant on va faire attaque lourde. Bon, ça va vu qu'il n'y a aucun temps de chargement.
Heavy attacks break weapon blocks and do more damage. But they're slow, so your opponents might counterattack.
Bah oui, oui. Que là ça se tient. Waouh. Ça c'était solide. Il faut que je fasse ça.
Power attacks smash weapon blocks to really hammer an enemy with damage. But they're slow and leave you vulnerable, so pick your moment. What strikes your fancy? Practice or a challenge?
Moi je suis chaud du défi là. Et pourquoi? Et je comprends pas ce qu'il faut que je fasse de plus. Je comprends pas.
Oh, hi. Hey, I thought you'd left by now. It's easy now, but we'll talk soon.
Quoi?
I'll come find you later. Almost ready to go?
You did it!
Bon.
Nice to see you back here. What can I help you with?
Je peux pas. Mais so long, hein.
Nice to see you back here. What can I help you with?
Ce que je comprends pas, c'est que j'ai tout fait. Mais ouais. La marque du clan du désert dans la planète du ciel. Je comprends pas. Tant pis. Tant pis. Ok, c'est pas l'endroit où je dois aller. Il faut que je rentre dans le bâtiment. Voilà. Putain, pourquoi faire ça quand on peut faire compliqué?
Ah, Savior, over here.
Ah oui, c'était déjà mis tout à l'heure ça.
Thank you for taking the time, and my condolences that you had to endure Ulvund's bloviating.
I've dealt with worse. It sounds like he's really trying to put you over the barrel.
The idea that the Karja purposely let bristlebacks into the Daunt, it's completely absurd. But the louder and longer he says it, the more support he'll get for his damned concession decree.
How did the Bristlebacks get into the Daunt?
No one knows for sure. The first report of them came from west of the quarry. But unless they have wings I don't know about, I don't see how they could have come over the mountains.
No other way in.
The only way I know about is Barren Light. Look, if you can get to the bottom of this, I can offer a considerable bounty in return. Help me shut Ulvund up.
What is this concession decree that Ulvund wants?
He wants the Sundom to designate portions of the Daunt as Oseram holdings. Only the portions, mind you, that produce any value.
Let me guess. Because he stands to profit somehow?
Exactly. With the Daunt under Oseram law, he could secure more investment for their numerous ventures.
He can't get those investments without the concession?
No. Not while there's a chance the Sundom could revoke their access. Hence, why the concession is so important to him. And why blaming the Karja for the Bristlebacks, no matter how absurd, works in his favor.
How does blaming the Karja for the Bristlebacks help Ulvund get his concession?
Look around. This may be the Sundom, but Chainscrape is all gears and rust and bad ale. Claiming that the Karja loosed the Bristlebacks in order to intimidate Oseram laborers into obedience. Well, let's just say no one here has forgotten the atrocities of the Mad Sun King. And with the Bristlebacks bringing work in the valley to a halt, Ulvund has plenty of time to pick at barely healed wounds.
And if the Oseram refuse to work, unless the concession is signed, you won't have a choice.
Correct. The reconstruction of Barren Light must continue.
How did you get stuck out here?
I asked for the posting, believe it or not. Overseeing the entire valley on behalf of the Sun King? It was an honor. Is an honor, I mean.
But your job would be a lot easier without someone like Ulvund blasting hot air all the time?
Ulvund's not going anywhere. He's been around longer than I have. Even fancies himself the founder of Chainscrape. Now, I'll find a way to live with him. I have to.
You said the Bristlebacks were first spotted west of the quarry?
Yes, according to one terrified laborer, said the ground trembled before they came charging down the hillside. He took off and ran all the way here.
Good place to start looking, then.
If you learn the truth, maybe Ulvund will stop blaming the Karja for every problem under the sun, and maybe then he'll actually focus on rebuilding Barren Light instead.
Ok. Et du coup, ce corps. Bon, mais tant pis, on va d'abord aller. On va d'abord aller faire la quête. Alors que j'ai rien autour. À quoi? C'est quoi ça?
Hey, boy. Change your mind about that brew? Come to revel in some strike, sister?
C'est quoi ce jeu?
Let me set the
C'est
board.
comme le Gwent?
I was just passing by.
First timer, huh? Don't worry about it. I'll go easy on you. You got any pieces?
Non.
No.
Well, aren't you in luck then? I got an extra set, a Tanakh original straight out of the Forbidden West. Sit. I'll run you through it in a hot spark.
Ok, on est
I'll
clair.
give you something special if you win it on my boards, too.
Le mahjong. Oui, bah oui, oui. Pour novice, non terminé, service. De toute façon, oui, vas-y, feu. Vous voulez quoi? Oui, bah oui, oui, je connais pas le jeu.
Let's start off simple. The Tanakh like to say that Machine Strike is
Un
a game
jeu de
of
stratégie
pure
pure.
strategy. We each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a kind of machine, and each machine
attaque,
is worth a different
défense,
number of
c'est attaque
victory
et vie.
points.
Ouais.
And to win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines.
Ok.
It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these notes to keep track of them. You see that number on the top right corner?
C'est un de vie, le PV, oui.
That there is how many victory points you'll get for
Ah, si
destroying
j'ai détruit
that
la machine.
machine.
Ok.
Notes also tell you how far a piece can move,
Ok. Mouvement.
how powerful
Attaque.
their attacks are, the distance they can strike from,
Ah, ça c'est à distance. Ok, et le nombre de vie qu'elle a.
and of course. Okay, that's enough for now. Let's just play. I'll explain the rest as we go.
Ok.
I own the board, so I get to choose who goes first. Since this is your first time, I'll let you go.
Ok.
Usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but this will do for now. Pick up that machine piece to your right, and move it forward.
Sur de...
And remember, each machine can only take a look at your notes if you need a reminder. Easy enough, huh? Now, you get to move 2 machines each. Perfect. There's not much else to do for now, so just end your turn.
Surcharge moins 2 de santé.
We're
D'accord,
forging
il y a des
onwards.
petits trucs à...
Let me move my pieces here.
Tu peux bouger et tirer en même temps?
And we're back to you. This time, why don't you try attacking one of my pieces? Try with that machine on your right first.
C'est pas seulement de défense.
Now move the piece close. When performing an attack, you'll be testing your machine's a machine's combat power is a combination of and its own attack power. This board only has grassland terrain, which has and your current machine has 2. So in
Okay.
total, your machine, since my machine isn't the one attacking, it has 0
Ah,
points of
quand t'es en mode
attack
attaque.
power.
Ok, oui.
And just like your machine, it's not affected by grassland terrain. So this means your machine can do. Did you get all that?
Ouais, c'est qu'autour du attaque...
Knew you were a smart one. Finish up by attack. Not pulling any punches, huh? Now grab that second machine of yours. See how your machine can't move close enough to attack mine? You can make your machine sprint. That lets it move 1 space further. Try it out.
C'est quoi sprint?
Try sprinting up to one of my machines.
Ah, pardon.
Go ahead. Just sprint over to my machine.
B. Ah, j'avais pas vu, pardon.
Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack.
Ah, donc...
Now, some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine in
D'accord.
cases like
Donc du
this.
coup, je peux tirer.
Overcharging lets you attack
Après
after
un
a sprint,
sprint,
but
ok, mais ça ne
it
fait pas
will
de la vie.
damage your machine's health by 2 points. So use at your own discretion. Let's try doing that now so you can see what I mean. That's about it for your turn then.
D'accord, j'ai compris.
Now, I'll let you in on a neat trick. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it. Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces. Blue shows where their armor is thickest. Hit them there, and you'll do some damage, but not a lot.
D'accord.
Now, red shows the machine's weak points.
Tu peux attaquer par
Hit
le dos.
those, and
Cool.
you'll deal a mighty blow. Here, let me show you. Rotate that piece so your machine faces mine. Now let that machine have it. Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so let's keep going. Your machine attacked mine, but hasn't moved yet. Go ahead and move downwards towards my remaining piece. You've already attacked a machine and moved your piece. But if you overcharge your machine,
ça va me la
you can
tuer.
attack a second time. And by the you'd be sacrificing your piece
Oui,
to
ok,
defeat
d'accord.
mine.
Je sacrifie une pour
But
avoir les deux.
sometimes that can be a good overcharge your machine to attack. Ain't that a thrill? Now,
J'ai compris.
because your machine was knocked out at the same time as mine, we both get the victory points our machines are worth. Good news is, since you're the one attacking, you're gonna receive your victory points before I do. Which means you can reach the
Ah,
coveted
oui,
7
d'accord.
victory points
Je peux
first.
sacrifier ma machine parce que c'est moi qui attaque.
That's why sometimes losing a piece can be the best way
J'ai
to
compris.
end a game in your favor.
Ok.
Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite a but you did. That means you're the winner.
Oui, soit tu fais péter.
That wasn't so hard, was
Non,
it?
c'est clair.
Just remember to always check for the best terrain to attack from. You'd be surprised the advantage you can gain over an opponent like that.
Ok.
I know it saved my behind in a game or two.
I'll try and remember that.
Oh, before I forget, these are all my spare pieces. I want the Savior of Meridian to have them. It's a small set to be sure, but it should be enough to get you in on any strike games you find out there. You might even fancy looking out for them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique pieces that can turn a game in your favor.
Ah, donc faut quand même que
Though
j'achète
they'll need the right
peut-être des
materials
trucs.
to craft you one. Or you might find them in the wilds if you're lucky. I know I've lost my fair share of pieces after a night of machine hunting or brew hopping. No need to thank me. Always a pleasure to help out new strike players. Now, if you feel like playing a real game, I've got plenty of other boards. I could even teach you a few more tricks if you're up for it.
Thanks. I'll think about it.
Je suis pas loin de maîtriser le jeu. Ouais, quand même peut-être pas. Ah. Bah vas-y, on va continuer.
Ah, I knew I'd make a strike player out of you yet.
Cool.
How about this time I tell you how to use a board's terrain to your advantage? This one's got all the different terrains you can encounter in a game of Strike. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Terrain mainly affects your machine's combat
En fonction de
power.
la zone, ils sont plus ou moins à
As you
l'aise.
know, when fighting an opponent's machine, you compare its combat power to yours. The higher your machine's combat power, the more damage you can do. So finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your opponent. Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my machines. Now let's take a look at your machine's combat power. Combat power is the sum of a machine's attack power and the value of the terrain it's
Ah, et
standing
ça en
on.
est plusieurs en fonction de la zone où je me
Since your
situe.
machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power.
Plus la zone.
It's also standing on forest terrain with a value
Okay.
of 1 point.
Ok.
Add those together, and your machine, my machine is standing on grassland terrain with a value of 0 points. It's also not attacking, which means so my combat power is zero. This means your machine can do. Go ahead and test it out. There you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just improve your offense. It can also help defend your machines from attack. Grab your other piece and place it in front of my second machine.
Ah ouais, ok. Et -1. Ah ok, d'accord. Je sais pas, plus t'es haut, plus...
Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's standing on grassland terrain. This terrain has a value of 0. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2 points. My machine can't use their attack power since they're defending their position.
Donc elle a mon
But they
bouclier.
have the higher ground.
Et
They're standing on forest terrain, which
moi,
is
je suis à
worth
0.
1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1
Eh oui,
point.
c'est pour ça que je perds 1.
Now, the front of my machine is colored blue.
C'est là où il y a le...
This means that the spot you're about to attack has armor protecting
Ah,
it,
je comprends mieux.
which means my machine gets an extra point, giving it a total of 2 combat power points.
Et vu que je tape
If we
2...
compare the combat power of both machines, you'll see that you won't be able to do any damage. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent's combat power, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defenses instead. Go ahead, try it out and see what happens. Ha, see? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both our machines will receive 1 point of damage, but knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attacks. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving backwards, it would have received an extra
Ça a
point
été
of
bloqué par une
damage.
hauteur.
And if my machine had been blocked by another one of my pieces,
Elle aurait aussi pris des dégâts.
that machine would have received
Ok.
damage as well.
Oui, je comprends
That's
mieux.
why breaking a machine's defenses is a great way to deal damage to several pieces at once. Useful, right? Okay, now go ahead and... All right, as we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your machine's combat power. However, there are 2 other terrains that work a little differently. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those.
Ah,
But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point from most
bateau.
machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. Just move your machine to marsh. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not
super.
completely
En fait, elle m'a...
helpless.
Ouais, ok.
Well, I think that's enough yammering for me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy next time you play.
Ah.
Here for more tips? Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of setup points,
Ouais, ok.
and you can spend up to 10 assembling your army.
Ok.
Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches your strategy is the key to becoming a
Ouais, si tu mets plus de vie, si tu mets plus d'attaque...
When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board at the same time.
Identique.
With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how far they can move or how much attack power they have. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type and skills.
Ok.
Let's take a quick look, shall we? Pick up that machine on your left. All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponents. In other words, its machine type.
Continuer sur
If you look
rapport.
at your notes, you'll see this machine here is a melee type.
Sûr.
You can also tell by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee-type machine attacks the first enemy within range, and no one else. We've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some more stuff. Great, now grab your other machine.
Charognard.
Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner-type machine here.
Artillerie.
This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look at the rest of the pieces. Let's go with this piece first.
Elle a quoi du coup? Ah,
This
un
is
brouteur.
a ram-type machine.
Corps à corps.
Attack an enemy with it,
pas
and
beaucoup,
it'll
t'as pas
push the
beaucoup.
piece backwards. Like this.
Ah, quand il est dans la prairie, il tape un de plus.
See, now my machine has taken over your machine's spot on the board. This is a great way to take the advantage away from your opponent if they have the higher ground. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is a
Tape deux.
beauty of a piece, a dash-type machine. When it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range and damage every machine in its path, including your own.
Ah.
So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send
Yeah,
it
parce
off
que
to
t'as
the
pas mis.
races. You should also
t'as-
make
t'as
sure
tapé
it's
jusqu'à
able
trois,
to
ok.
finish its attack on an
Non,
empty
jusqu'à deux.
spot. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at all.
Après, c'est un truc de pouvoir.
Here,
comme
I'll
ça.
show you. Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set.
Ah, mais du
If
coup,
you
tu
look
te
at your
retrouves pour
notes,
attaquer
you'll
une arme.
notice this particular machine has one of the skills I mentioned before. There's quite a few of those, and we haven't even looked at all the machine types yet. But I'm pretty sure you've got more important things to do, so I made you a list.
Une liste.
It's got all the tips and tricks we talked about,
Elle
too.
m'a fait une liste.
I think that about does it for now, so if you want to play a real game, just let me know.
Bah, on va tenter, on va voir. Hein. Quatre plateaux. Venez à bout de tous les plateaux derrière ça pour gagner cette récompense. Bon, on va tenter. À tout le monde, je vais me faire laver, mais.
Let's do this!
Ok. Moi, j'ai une vie.
My turn.
Ok.
Your turn.
Ah, mais elle les a fait sprinter.
Thank the forge you hit armor. Okay. Let's
Okay.
see.
Ouais. Elle va prendre des dégâts.
You're
Ah,
up,
mais elle m'a
Red.
poussé. Ok. J'ai bien envie de faire ça. Ouais, comme ça, je le tue.
You got me down to one piece. I am impressed. Ah,
Oh, ça va, c'était pas
looks
compliqué.
like I lost. Here we go.
Donc, le corps final, étape de loin.
That's it for me.
Je suis un âne.
Time to get
Ah, j'ai
serious.
que 2 pièces. Oula, oui, ça me fait prendre. Ok. J'ai perdu 2 de vie gratuit.
Board's all yours. I'm up. Your move, Red.
Ben non, je peux pas les toucher.
Knocked right off the board.
Ah, j'ai touché quelqu'un d'autre là? Ok, cool.
Time to make my move.
Oh ouais, ok, je prends un tarif. Ok.
Well, that's done now.
D'accord. Ok.
One less piece on the board. Time to make my move.
Ok. Ouais, c'était
That
sûr.
was brutal.
Ah oui.
Your move, Red. Ah, off the board it goes.
Ok. Ah, c'est bon.
Time to get serious.
Oh, chut. Oh,
Guess
putain,
luck's
j'ai
not
pas...
on your side today,
Attends,
Red.
il a surchargé... Merde.
Let's play.
Oh. Elle m'a lavé. Ok, elle m'a lavé. Super. Ça a fait quand même avancer, donc... Bon, allez, on va voir.
Board's all yours. Okay.
Déjà, j'ai perdu deux points de vie gratuits parce que je suis comme... Bon qui réfléchit pas.
Your turn. One less piece on the board.
Ouais, mais elle a raison, mais elle a surchargé, ça peut faire du bien des fois.
You're up, Red. You are on a roll. Knocked right off the board.
Bon, je suis pas trop mal.
My turn.
Ok.
Well, that's done now.
Ok.
A single machine left? That ain't good.
Non,
Got me.
bon.
Fair and square.
C'est pas si compliqué, mais oui, il faut apprendre à jouer surcharge et tout. Là, j'ai pas été bon. J'ai pu la merde, on peut le dire. Fait chier. On continue.
This is gonna be fun.
On me fiante, pillards. Ouais, des pillards. Alors, ils tapent 2. Ils peuvent bouger de 3, ils attaquent encore. Et les cordes fiantes, 2. Ok.
Time to make my move.
C'est pas qu'il avance autant.
That's it for me. Come up.
Ah, ça pour l'instant.
Ah, off the board it goes. That was brutal. Okay, let's see. Board's all yours. That was brutal.
Ok.
Well, that's done now. Ah, off the board it goes.
Ok.
Your turn.
Ah ouais.
One less piece on the board.
Ok.
Knocked right off the board. Now that was a game,
Yes.
even if I lost.
Ok, ça va, je commence à comprendre ces trucs de surcharge et tout, c'est pas mal. Du coup, il m'en reste qu'un, défi normal. Oula, attends. Ah, créer une nouvelle série. Défi normal, série de l'adversaire. Je sais, pour créer une nouvelle série personnalisée, vous devez utiliser au moins 7 points de mise en place pour jouer une série dans une partie. D'accord. Ok. D'accord. Thierry, c'est que ça tire un peu loin. Ben vas-y. 2, 4, 6, 7.
Good luck.
On va tenter. C'est ça que je vois peut-être un peu mal, c'est me créer mon équipe. J'avoue que ça
Your
va
move,
être un peu
Ray.
plus compliqué. Ça va commencer en plus.
Time
Ouais,
to
c'est bon,
get
ça. On va laisser venir un peu. Wesh, mais il y en a certains
That's
qui
it for me.
vont attaquer, ouais. Ça met une nuit, ça.
My turn.
Surcharge.
You're up, Red. Hey! Oh, that was the perfect spot.
Ok, donc ça c'est bon, il est mort.
One less piece on the board.
Tant pis, moi je l'aurais touché. Même si Cherty va crever, tant pis.
That was brutal. Ah, off the board
Bah
it
là
goes.
c'était un peu offert, je t'avoue, frérot.
Well, that's done
Ok.
now.
Bon, on est pas trop mal, on va dire, pour l'instant.
I'm up.
Bon, de toute façon, il m'a buté, donc c'est pas grave. Il me restait
Your
pour
move,
finir les
Red.
corps à corps, après les autres, ils tirent à distance. Oh bah, on surcharge le boss.
Knocked right off the board.
Et du coup...
Now that was a smart move. Well,
J'ai gagné.
spark my forge. You have beaten me on
Nickel,
every one of my
petite victoire.
boards. Now that
bah
deserves
oui.
a prize, I say.
Une belle victoire. Une pièce d'attaque fouisseur. Des éclats de métal.
You know where to find me, Red.
Il y a un truc, je sais pas ce que... Oh putain, c'est vraiment ça. Je vais les enlever parce que ça me perturbe. Pirater. Si vous avez envoyé son piratage, trouvez les creusets. Et ouais, putain, c'est comme dans le premier ça. Ah, Ligotage, j'ai... Ouais, on doit se remplacer tous les... On va dire le sac il est comme tout le reste. Oh c'est chiant. Sûr quand même ça va être des... Bah ouais. Capteur. Ok. Ok, et on finit avec ça. C'est bon, j'ai plus rien. Donc. Allez, et ben j'ai fini avec tout ce que j'ai autour, oui. Et du coup on va y aller hein. Non, je crois que j'avais un truc... Oh, je sors déjà. Je sais pas si je sors par là, mais en tout cas, je pense. C'est quoi ça?
Acid's no good. Figure something else out.
Ah, c'est ça un fouisseur?
Where are you off to? whole area is rigged with tripwires.
Hey, you! Make it worth your while if you kill these scroungers.
It's always something.
Hold tight! I'll see what I can do.
If I find the culprit, I'll learn how to override this machine.
Ok, on va le faire.
Why kill it like that? What do you think the tripwires are for? Save yourself some. Just like I thought.
Okay, better.
Je me fais bouger.
Why kill it like that? What do you think the tripwires are for?
What's the last one?
Hello, Red. What a day, what a day.
Ah, mais j'ai... Putain.
Thank the Forge you showed up. Tripwire's handy, but machine hunting's a youngin's game. Come on over. Let me give thanks
This will be
proper
soon
like.
enough.
I see you're a
Fishy.
practiced hunter. Took you less time to kill those scroungers than vanguards to kill one bristleback.
So the vanguards came through here?
Yeah, just a bit ago. Took down that bristleback, headed south. But then those scroungers showed up to carve the carcass, as they do.
Ah, donc le temps
Then
que je
another
suis, il l'avait
bristleback
vu.
ran through. I'm telling you, it's crazy around here.
So the vanguard went south.
Probably. This whole valley is swarming with them. The vanguard seemed dead set on getting rid of them.
I see.
Hold on there, Red. If you're gonna go chasing across the Daunt, you're gonna want a tripcaster.
Yes.
Not just
Ça
any
oui, je le
tripcaster.
prends 10 fois.
One of
même.
mine make, free of charge.
Ça j'aime bien.
Workmanship looks solid enough.
Yep. Been tweaking the design since I left Chain Scrape. More room to tinker out here and less chance of, well, accidents.
Did something happen in Chainscrape?
More like someone.
Let me guess. Ulvund.
Eh
Back when I had a place in town, he took a real interest in my wares. Kept pressing for the Ulvund discount. I said no. He didn't like that so much. I can't prove it, but that Jeff Bucket set my workshop on fire. Felt it best to put some distance between us after that.
Cable car operator told me the bristlebacks just appeared yesterday. Do you know anything about them?
How is old Karn? Back in the day, me and him got into all sorts of trouble. There was this one time that...
Anything about the bristlebacks?
No. Karn said true. I just showed up and ran amok. Lucky for me, I've got you and the Vanguard swooping in time to save my backside.
I should get going. Thanks.
Ah oui, merci
for
pour
the
le lance-robe,
tripcaster.
ça c'est clair. Et bien,
While
c'est
you're
l'explosif.
blasting bristlebacks, I think I'll head down to the hunting grounds. Did you know they have a tripcaster trial? Come by later if you want to try it out.
Maybe. After I get things under control.
Bon, ben on va s'arrêter là pour aujourd'hui.
So Erend headed south.
On va sauvegarder
Should be
tranquille.
able
Mais
to
par
pick up his
contre,
tracks
oui,
with my focus.
ça c'est très bien. Content du lance-câble. Bon, je l'ai que électrique pour l'instant, c'est pas grave, mais je suis content du lance-câble. Ouais. Nickel. Ah, mais c'est vrai que pour sauvegarder, il faut que. C'est quoi ça? Non. Désolé mon pote, mais... de la pâte explosive.
All on me. I can send it to my
D'ailleurs, je suis pas
stash.
monté voir s'il y avait un truc à récupérer. Il y a un truc, bien sûr. Et je trouve. Hein. Oups. Ah, parce que niveau B, j'ai pété.
Trucks. Maybe Aaron's and the Vanguards.
Ouais, on va prendre quelques biens de
These in
plus.
my pack.
Attends, mais c'est quoi cette zone? Ça m'intrigue.
It's a ruin from the old world. I could find something interesting inside. Okay, what do we have in here?
Nombreux trésors attendent les entreprises. Ok. À chaque fois je dis j'arrête, à chaque fois je veux voir. C'est sûr que c'est pas là. Il y en a de moyen de monter? Oui. Allez, faut que
Need to create some distance first. Looks like this door needs some kind of key module. Maybe there's one on the run?
Désolé frérot. Mais c'est pas vrai, j'aurais pas chopé une seule peau de sanglier pour l'instant. Vu que ça porte un goût un peu derrière. Mais... je sais pas comment rentrer. Let's go. De la peau. De la peau de sanglier. Ça c'est cool. Et je rêve pas, il y a un truc là quand même. Ça met un truc ici mais je peux pas monter. Ah, j'ai justement. Panneau de ventilation, caisse. En fait, c'est que je peux pas rentrer par là.
Maybe a shock ammo against that machine. Je vais venir ici, bordel. Cool. Cool. Mais par Well,
contre,
don't have to worry about running out.
comment je fais pour monter là-dedans? What? Qu'est-ce qu'elle veut? Heureusement que j'avais dit j'arrêtais.
I'd like to feel my legs again if you don't mind. Mighty thankful to you, Savior.
Avec plaisir.
Just Aloy is fine.
Attends, mais c'est lui?
Aaron mentioned you're not one for fancy titles.
You're Vanguard.
We're here to escort Vardis' delegate behind to the embassy.
If we can get rid of these bristlebacks.
Captain said to keep an eye on Chainscrape, then these ugly lugs showed up.
Gave the first one a good beating.
But didn't quite have time to roll out of the way when it fell.
Told you it wasn't a good idea to eat that much before heading out.
I should probably get going.
Now, if you see any more of these bristlebacks,
I'll make sure to roll out of their way.
Might want to take some of these with you as well. They're handy in a pinch.
Mais on est quoi?
Thanks.
Stay safe, Aloy.
Voilà, hop. Comme ça, je sauvegarde. Et par contre, vraiment... Bon, j'ai sauvegardé, j'arrête. Allez, je continue à demain. Allez, nickel. Quitté. Ok, bon, mais on continuera demain. Allez, so long.